Okay, hello. This is Amos Tarfa. Thank you for joining the live. I'm just going to talk briefly about how to raise the next generation of engineers. Um, I'm going to invite my friend, Dr. Ogolo. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Can you hear me, sir? While he's logging on, I'm just going to talk briefly about this series this summer. So, God willing, the plan this summer is to explore every branch of engineering that I can for students and families to just help their kids. Like, we want to help teenagers to be thinking about every single branch of engineering. And so, Dr. Ogolo's branch is petrochemical engineering, but I'm sure he'll be able to give us insight and advice on some of the other branches. Um, Let me just quickly say this, and then we'll do these episodes weekly. So please stay tuned for more of these episodes. But basically, what we're doing is we are trying to change the paradigm in America when it comes to career preparation for teenagers. There's this idea that you don't have to choose a major until later on in life, and I think that idea has some flaws to it. What do I mean by this? If I know that I want to become a doctor, or if I want to become an engineer, then the track on which I will walk on will be quite different from somebody who wants to become a counselor or psychologist or educator, right? Now, there are some things that are general to all those categories, and so we'll talk about that briefly. But let me just introduce the books that we're using in this series, and then we'll go from there. So the first book in this series is called Career Planning for Teens. You could find these books on the link I've sent out for the ACT SAT preparation course. So I teach ACT and SAT to students. And one of the things I do different is I integrate career planning. So this book is one of the resources that my students will be using. It's a good starting point for figuring out what you want to do with your life. So that's number one. The same company or similar publisher, I should say, has a book called Life Skills for Teens. So you have Life Skills for Teens and Career Planning for Teens. So these are good resources to help build a base. The other thing that would help, we're talking about the base first, and then we're going to add on specific fields of study. The other thing that helps is just a book on careers, just any book that has a list of careers. So you take these three. I apologize, there's a fourth one. You take this four, this is called Career Planning Blueprint, the Young Adults Guide. You take these four books, and basically you have all that you need to help you understand the basics of career preparation. This is for teenagers, right? My top book would be this one if you had to just take one. And then these other ones are just a resource. The careers book, you can pretty much find a website that just lists different careers that young people can explore. So we need a resource for young people to have that explores careers so that they can start thinking about what are the different careers. Based on your skill set, then, let's say you decide that engineering or STEM is for you, what direction should you go? So let me talk about that specifically now. Let's talk about people that have realized that, you know what, I want to go into STEM. Well, I have my book here, which you can find on my website, amosthemathguy.com. It's called Tools for Mastering Mathematics. No matter what field you're going into, it's a great resource. And so you can get a free copy of that from amosthemathguy.com. But basically, having a strong math base opens doors for you in STEM fields. So let's talk about these four books that are specific to STEM fields. And then we'll call it a day. We'll have this series, as I said, every week in the summer, God willing. I'll try and post a video talking about STEM excellence, career preparation. So the first book then is if you want to become an engineer, then the book called Becoming an Engineer by Jake Ryland is one of your best resources. So Becoming an Engineer is a wonderful resource. It says the average person's guide to getting good grades and succeeding in engineering school, engineering and STEM. That's what it says. So this is a great resource. Jake Ryland has a YouTube channel. He does great work. Becoming an Engineer is the name of his YouTube channel. And so you can learn about the different aspects of motivation, self-discipline, time creation and management, sustainable lifestyle and schedule, efficiency in everything, studying and effective learning, exam performance. So that's the first book I would recommend. If you have a child that is very good with math or building and they're thinking of engineering, that's the first book. The next book I'll recommend is Engineering for Teens, which I talked about earlier. Engineering for Teens gives you the different branches of engineering. I'll list a few of them out just so you see maybe if your child is already leaning in one of those directions. Chemical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. Within each of these, there's subcategories. For example, chemical engineering has biomedical engineering, biochemical engineering, environmental engineering, materials engineering, nuclear engineering. So we're going to try our best to cover each of these branches of engineering. Now, here's the thing, no matter what branch of engineering you're going into, you're going to need calculus 1, you're going to need calculus 2, you're going to need resources that would help you. And so some of the books that I have behind me here are focused on different math topics. This one is called Understanding Mathematics from Counting to Calculus. It's a great resource for students to have a solid base, a guide all the way to calculus. So let's do that. Let's use that to build our solid base. The next book I want to talk about, so Engineering for Teens, we'll do a breakdown of this for during the summer. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Facebook, and you'll be able to get these resources like videos explaining different branches of engineering. We'll also have some live sessions, webinars, Zoom meetings where you can call in as well. What if you want to go into medicine instead? Well, there's one called Decoding Medical Careers, and that's a different book. Today's topic is not medicine, but we do have a book and a resource for that. So if you want to go into medicine, I highly recommend that you check out this book. It has different branches of medicine. The last book I'm going to talk about is actually called Inventions and Technology. Now, this book gives a story for different things that have been, brought, whether it's things like television or the X-ray units or things with engines. It gives different stories here for you to know about the history of the invention. Why is it important to teach the history of invention? Why is it important to teach the context for which these things came about? I believe it's because it will help students to begin to think about, okay, if this is the reason that man was losing sleep, then maybe I should consider how I can expand upon the discovery he made. Let's understand why they came up with their discovery. So I'm going to land with this. In my curriculum, Journey Through Genius, from Counting to Calculus, I'm trying to teach students the history of mathematics, the history of science, the applications of mathematics, the applications of science, and understanding all of these, of course, will help them hopefully put in the time to become better and practice, and then it helps them with standardized tests. But that's not the fundamental reason. It will help them with their ACT, SAT prep, which I offer now. I've offered this for 12 years, but I'm going to be offering more of it online. So if you want ACT, SAT preparation, please email amosthemathguy@gmail.com, amosthemathguy@gmail.com. But one of the things that you will realize is that by studying the history of inventions and technology, you might be able to find ways that you can take it to the next level. One of the books I'm reading this summer is the story of Albert Einstein. And when Albert Einstein came up with his general theory of relativity, I don't know if you know this, but he actually didn't have some of the mathematics pieces down. He had to take that from somebody else's work, right? Somebody else helped him with the mathematics. So collaboration is important in raising the next generation of engineers. Critical thinking, math skills, the ability to, again, think outside the box, think creatively. These are elements that will help us do well with engineering. I'm going to be inviting Dr. Ogolo on my next episode. I apologize. We had some internet challenges today and my delay. I delayed and then I didn't get the Instagram to work properly. So I apologize. Today we're not going to have a live with Dr. Ogolo, but we're going to schedule one with him. So stay tuned for that. Email your questions. What questions do you have for Dr. Ogolo? What questions do you have about engineering or becoming an engineer? If you're in Nigeria, what questions do you have for engineering in the universities? And then if you're interested in studying abroad, please feel free to email your questions. amosthemathguy@gmail.com, amosthemathguy@gmail.com. So I wanted to land with this. The stories and the history and philosophy of science, the stories from science and mathematics can help inspire the next generation of scientists and mathematicians and engineers as well. A lot of engineering exploits that we see today at the scale that we're seeing, it came from, we're talking about 1800s, 1900s, and of course, our current century here. But it's just interesting to see how we build upon other people's work. So what is your favorite branch of engineering? What branch do you want us to explore in more detail? What are some fields of study that you want us to invite guests to the STEM Excellence podcast? Send them to amosthemathguy@gmail.com or leave them in the comment section. Again, I want to apologize for the technical difficulty. I look forward to the next episode where we'll be talking more about how to raise the next generation of engineers, scientists, mathematicians, and thinkers. Take care. Have a blessed day. And please subscribe for more.